as the Lord leads, every message will be based off of thanking God. Based off of thanking God. And so Acts chapter 28, and again, I'll be reading from the New King James Version of the Bible. And we'll start, the entire chapter is good, but we will start at verse number 3. And the Word of God should read something like this. Acts 28, verses 3 through 6. It says, "But when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened on his hand. So when the natives saw the creature hanging from Paul's hand, they said to one another, 'No doubt this man is a murderer, whom, though he escaped the sea, yet justice does not allow to live. Paul has a viper hanging on his hand.' And those who saw the viper attached to his hand say, 'He must have done something for this to happen.' But verse 5 says, 'But he shook off the creature into the fire and suffered no harm.' Verse 6 says, 'However, they were expecting,' watch it, 'however, they were expecting that Paul would swell up or suddenly fall down dead. But after they had looked for a long time and saw no harm come to him, they changed their minds and said, he must be a god.'" A viper attaches itself to Paul. A viper grabs on to his hand. And those who were around him knew what kind of viper that was. And they knew it was a venomous snake. So they said they were looking to see him swell up or die. And some of your enemies are the same way. But for the time that we have to share, I want to talk from this subject. I made it out alive. I made it out alive. I made it out alive. Folk thought I was dead. They thought it was over. But I made it out alive. I made it out. And not only did I make it out, but I made it out alive. Do you all see that picture? Do you all see that? I made it out. And I made it out. I made it out alive. Some of you all have made it through abuse. Thought it was going to kill you. But you made it out. And you made it out alive. Molestation. Thought it was going to kill you. And the truth of the matter is it should have. But you made it out. And you made it out alive. That'll preach within itself. I about ain't got to say nothing after that, because if you think about it hard enough, there was a lot of things that you were in that you didn't think you would make it out at all. But you're here to tell it. Look at me now. I should have been dead. I could have been dead. But I'm here to tell it that God won't let you stay in it. He will bring you out, and he will bring you out alive. Just 15 minutes of your time. Just 15 minutes of your time. Dear hearts, I only want 15 minutes of your time because I want to share this with you. No matter how good you are, you hear me? No matter how good, Uncle Roy, you are, you will never be good enough for the wrong person. Did you hear me? It doesn't matter how good you are. You will never, ever be good enough for who? The wrong person. And the second part of that is this. No matter how blessed you are, somebody, somewhere will question how you got what you got and made it to where you are. Somebody somewhere. Folk gonna always have something to say as long as they got a mouth and a tongue to speak. Folk gonna always use that tongue of bitter devices to say something about the good that's happening in your life. You mean to tell me such and such got married? Do you remember in high school? You mean to tell me such and such is preaching right now? All I knew was them saying cuss words. But when God brings you out of something, it don't matter what nobody got to say, because they weren't the one who brought you out anyway. Folk cannot understand how God has blessed you to the point, Sister Charlene Johnson, that he has blessed you, because they only have minds of back then and back when. But look at you now. And it is the God in you. It's the God over you. It's the God around you. It's the God under you. It's the God who made you to where you are right now. And nobody can get the credit. So let them keep talking. Because the more they keep talking, the more you keep testifying that I am who I am because God made me to be this way. Because the more they talk, they just become advertisement for Jesus. Because every time they look at you, it's just not you that they're looking at. They're looking at a new person, a new creature, a person who's not who they used to be. And we understand we're not all we're going to be, but we thank God we're not what we used to be. Next Sunday, invite to church the person who know your past. Did you hear me? Next Sunday, invite to church the person who knew you in your BC days, your before Christ days, when they used to see you and or run with you, and let them see you in church. Not a club, in church, not on a corner, but in church. Because one of the things they're going to remember is the garbage that you once experienced. Folk love garbage. folk love mess. But you don't look like the garbage you experienced. Is there any more amens in here? I know I've been through some garbage, but I don't look like what I've been through because God has always had his hand on me. You didn't come out looking like garbage. You came out glistening like gold. But folks and the devil and his demons and his dupes want to keep you in the dirt that they thought you should always be in. They want to keep you in the dirt that they felt you should always be in. But there's a deliverance in that dirt. Don't y'all remember the story of the sheep? The sheep was traveling along the pastures and fell in a ditch. He fell so deep in the ditch that his owner couldn't get him out. So that the sheep would not die, the owner said, I'm just going to bury him alive so he won't have to suffer a long time. So the owner decided he was going to get a shovel and some dirt and shovel the dirt on the sheep. Did you hear me? The sheep is where? In the ditch. Now the owner don't want him to die a painful death. So he decides he's going to pour dirt on the sheep. Well, he decided to pour dirt on the sheep who was in the ditch. And every time he poured dirt on the sheep that was in the ditch was deep. The sheep was in the ditch. And the owner was pouring dirt on the sheep. But we realized deliverance was happening with the dirt. Because every time he poured dirt on the sheep would shake it off, step on it, and go up a little higher. Every time he poured dirt on the sheep would shake it off, step on it, and go a little higher. More dirt on the sheep would shake it off, step on it, and go on a little higher. He poured so much dirt on the sheep, soon the sheep got back up to where he was supposed to be. I thank God for my dirt. I thank God for my dirty situations. Because every time somebody poured dirt on me, the Holy Spirit let me shake it off, step on it, and come on up a little higher. Thank God for dirty people. Lies you tell on me, backbiting, scandalize my name. Your dirt got me to where God wanted me to be. Come on with your dirty self. Throw as much dirt on me as you can. Because when I come up, I'm coming out. And when I come out, I'm bringing somebody else with me. Grab your neighbor by the hand. Grab your neighbor by the hand and say, neighbor, this is the last day you're going to be depressed. Neighbor, this is the last day you're going to cry. Neighbor,
This is the last day you're going to be down because I'm coming out. And when I come out, you are too because I got your hand. And when I come out, I ain't coming out dead. I'm coming out alive. How I know I'm coming out? Because when you come out of something and you come up, that's only God using you as a trophy. So the reason why you've been lied on, the reason why folk been talking about you, because God set you up as a prize trophy so everybody can see you. Now unto him who's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all. God is my all. God is. Yeah, I'm supposed to be dead, sleeping in a dead grave, but the Lord put his hands on me, and now I want you to see what God has done for me. If you ain't never been through nothing, you could just sit there like you woke God up this morning. But if God brought you out of anything, if God delivered you from anything, you ought to show some sign. I wouldn't have a religion that I couldn't feel sometime. And I feel God right now because he's all over me and he's keeping me alive. He's on the right. He's on the left. He's in front. He's in back. He's over me. He's under me. And he's living inside. So yeah, I'm dirty, but I'm in church. Yeah, I'm dirty, but God made a way. Yeah, I'm dirty, but I'm a testimony that look what God can do with a nothing like me. Folks, look at that accident that Sister Cheyenne was in, and they wonder how she made it out. But I know somebody, when you get into a car accident, I know somebody, when you get down so low you can't look up to see the bottom. I know somebody. I woke up this way. I told God, if you let me get to church, I told God, if you let me get through such a tough week, when I come to church, I'm not going to act sedity. When I come to church, I'm not going to sit up there and make somebody have to push me and pump me to praise. You've been too good to me. You opened doors I could not see. You made death behave. You kept me out the grave. God, you did this, and I owe you. With some of the stuff you've been through, and watch me, some of the stuff you're currently in, because some of us are still in some of this mess. But God told me to tell you at 10:53 in the morning, you may be in some mess, but I'm going to put some age on that mess. You didn't hear me. You may be in mess, but I'm going to put some age on that mess, because I'm going to turn your mess to a message. So some of your best victories are going to come out of your misery. God is going to let some of your scars be your best sermon. Because folk going to wonder, how in the world are they still alive when what they went through should have killed them? But when God is in the business, when God is on the scene, I don't care what viper latches on to your hand, just shake it off. Depression, shake it off. Mean folks, shake it off. False friends, shake it off. Phony church folk, shake it off. I need a healing in my body. Shake it off. My mind needs to be regulated. Shake it off. I'm so glad God gave all of us in here bounce back power. I'm so glad God gave everybody in here bounce back power. The rope-a-dope power, where you get on the rope and they think that you're done. But all while you're doing like this, you just shaking it off, because soon God gonna give you some more power and you're gonna knock the hell out of the devil. Listen to me. If you think you counting me out, baby, you must can't count. My time is up. I got to preach somewhere else. Come back next week, because that's the